The drought of 1885 had already wiped out most of his herd when Caleb Thorne stumbled upon them two Lakota women, collapsed and half dead from starvation beside his failing well in the Montana Badlands. The shorter one was still a tower at nearly 6 feet, her frame gaunt but wired with muscle like a wild Mustang. The taller one? Lord, she pushed 6'5", easy, her deerskin shift clinging to a body built for war, not weakness. These weren't fragile prairie flowers. They were fighters, plain as day. Caleb's prosthetic arm carved from oak after Antietam took the real one creaked as he leaned on his rifle, every gut instinct yelling to turn back. But when the tall woman's eyes cracked open, sharp as a hawk's and deep as midnight, something inside him shifted. She tried to whisper, but her lips were split and dry as old leather. The shorter one stirred next, her face scarred across the left eye, leaving just one fierce gaze locked on him like a cornered wolf. Sweat trickled down Caleb's neck in the biting September wind. Helping them could end him foolish or fatal, no in between. What kind of rancher bets his life on strangers from the wild, only to learn they carry ghosts heavier than his own? Caleb Thorne had been dodging shadows for 5 years now. That wooden arm was a constant nag from the Battle of Antietam, where Union canister fire had turned his limb to splinters. But the deeper cuts were in his head nights, waking in cold sweats, hands trembling in the endless quiet of his 40-acre spread, miles from Billings. Out here, silence was your only company. Until today. Water, the one-eyed woman rasped, her English rough but clear enough. Caleb's grip tightened on his Winchester, knowing these women could crush him even in their state. But their hollow eyes mirrored his own stare in the mirror-haunted, hanging on by threads. He hauled his last bucket from the well, watching as the tall one steadied her sister to drink. Their sink was seamless, born from years of leaning on each other through hell. The tall woman's dress had ripped at the seam, showing bronze skin over rippling strength that screamed soldier, not settler. "I'm Kiona," she said at last, her words smooth and steady. "This is my sister, Tala." And even the name cut like wind through the Rockies. "Caleb Thorne," he muttered, nodding at his run-down shack with its leaky roof and faded hopes. "You two on the run?" Kiona's face hardened. "Fort Peck," she spat, like the name was venom. "Accused of murdering the agent's boy." Caleb's stomach dropped. Fort Peck was a government Trapava pact, starved out, run by crooks who treated Lakota like dirt. If they'd killed an agent's son. "Did you?" "No," Tala growled, her voice as scarred as her face. "But I'd do it twice." The truth hit Caleb hard. He'd heard the rumors. Women dragged to officers' quarters, kids wasting from rotten rations, warriors begging for crumbs. Agent Blackwell's son had cornered Kiona, claiming Native women were federal property. Resistance be damned. Rage boiled in Caleb's veins bled in a war for so-called freedom, only to see his country chain folks like animals. "So you bolted." Kiona's hand clasped Tala's, their bond unbreakable. "Blackwell's hunting us. Wants us alive for show." Through the grimy window, dust kicked up on the Horizon Riders, closing in fast. Caleb tallied his ammo. 10 shells for the rifle, 5 for his revolver. Water for 2 days at best, food scraping bottom. Logic screamed to boot them out. Instead, he eyed how Kiona shielded Talafierce, tender raw. It yanked at memories of his brother, lost at Antietam, letters gone cold forever. "There's a storm cellar out back," he said low. "Stone-lined, hidden trapdoor. Blackwell won't spot it." "Kiona, search his eyes." "Why risk it?" Caleb saw his weary soul reflected in hers. Chasing shadows alone gets old. The cellar was attuned dank, tight, black as pitch. Caleb hunkered with 2 Lakota warriors, boots thudding overhead, wondering if fate was laughing. "Thorne!" Agent Blackwell's bellow carried federal weight and personal hate. "I know you're out here, you one-armed cripple." Peeking through cracks, Caleb counted 9 troopers fanning out like hounds. Blackwell loomed on the porch, A bull of a man with mean eyes and fists made for beating, not badges. These squaws gutted my son. Harboring them makes you guilty as sin. Beside him, Kiona coiled like spring. In the dim closeness, Caleb caught whiffs of pine on her skin, felt heat when her arm brushed his. A spark ignited desire he'd buried with his arm in that bloody field. Your boy tried to force me, she hissed, for his ears only. Called his pals when I fought. Tala saved me. Tala's scarred face stayed stone, but her knife hand twitched. This one-eyed guardian had killed for her sister's honor, with no regrets. Boots neared. They'd find the hatch soon. Kiona read his fear. Blackwell craves more than our hides. What? Sitting Bull's final arms stashed in the Black Hills. 40 Winchesters, powder for a season's fight. Her breath warmed his ear, stirring forbidden urges. I know the spot. Caleb's pulse raced. That cache could spark another uprising, blood soaking the plains. It outweighed 2 lives or his. You'd hand it over. Kiona's eyes held oceans. To spare my sister. To spare a kind man. Her rough hand found his in the dark, warm and strong. Yes. The word weighed like lead betrayal, life tough calls. Caleb recalled his war. Choices and chaos that haunted him still. Overhead, Blackwell snarled, "Torch it, boys. If Thorn's in there, he'll fry." Kerosene stink seeped in. Kiona stood tall in the gloom, her height goddess-like, torn dress hinting at curves and power forged in hardship. "I'll trade the info," she whispered, "but only for safe passage south to Canada for us 3. Caleb clutched her arm, feeling iron muscle. "He'll double-cross us." Her grin flashed wicked. Not if Tala sinks a blade in his gut first. Tala's lone eye gleamed, her smile pure menace. The parley unfolded in Caleb's barren yard under a merciless sun. Blackwell sat his mount like a king, his men in a half-ring, guns cocked. But Caleb spotted doubt in their eyes-hardened vets uneasy with the hunt. Kiona stood firm between her sister and Caleb, her stature throwing long shadows. Starved or not, she moved like a panther. 40 repeating rifles, she declared, locking on Blackwell. 1,000 rounds, enough black powder for months. Blackwell licked his lips, greedy. "Where?" "Your word first. Safe run to Canada for all 3. No chase, no warrants. You slaughtered my boy. Your boy assaulted Mewitness's saw. The Lakota Code allows the defense of honor. Your army does too." The air thickened. Troopers fidgeted. Whispers of the son's cruelty buzzhound, abuser, preying on reservation women had spread. Blackwell flushed purple. Native code ain't law. Then no deal. Tension snapped tight. Caleb tasted fear, sweat stinging. Tala tracked every move, predator still. Finally, Blackwell grated, "Safe passage north 60 days. Officer's honor." The sarcasm in Kiona's tone cut deep. He nodded. Bear Paw Mountains, 2 miles east of the sacred spring. Buried under the fire-scorched pine. Blackwell spun, yelling orders. His crew bolted north in dust and fury. Quiet fell. Caleb's hand shook. That stash means 40 warriors dead. Kiona watched the haze. They were doomed any way Blackwell would have starved them out. Now they go fighting, not begging. Brutal math, but survival's calculator. Caleb knew it from battlefields where lives were traded for dirt. Tala broke the silence. "We leave now." Blackwell breaks promises at dusk. As they pack scraps, Kiona brushed close, her scent of earth and wild stirring him. Her fingers grazed his, taking a canteen electric. "Come with us," she murmured. "Canada's got spots for men shedding pasts." For a heartbeat, he pictured it. Riding north with these fierce beauties, swapping one loneliness for shared exile, maybe peace in the vast wilds. But his shack's broken walls called his haunt, his penance. "This is my ground," he said. "My demons stay here." Kiona nodded, understanding etched in her scars. She kissed his cheek swift, soft, tasting of dust and what-ifs. Then they vanished north, two titans toward a border of hope or doom, leaving Caleb with echoes and Pine's faint whisper. 4 years dragged like Montana winters, grinding everything to dust. Caleb sold the spread in 1889 after the last holdouts surrendered and the frontier tamed itself bloody. He tried holding on, but sunsets echoed women marching north, choices that traded blood for breath. He ended up in Billings' Frontier Saloon on a dusty Thursday, sipping bourbon that burned like regret. The barkeep jawed about Sitting Bull's End, the last free Lakota shipped to Eastern Pens, territory civilized for good folks. Pity about those two tall Lakota gals, a barfly slurred. Heard they got plugged in some Canadian pass, scrapping with Mounties. Caleb's drink soured. Then she swung through the doors. Kiana hardened, leaner, sun-etched. She wore a settler's gown now, her height regal amid the rabble. Her eyes met his across the haze, sparking recognition, secrets, and surviving storms. She slid into his booth like she owned it. Tala. Gone. The word hit like granite. Fever last spring. Died free in the peaks she cherished. Silence wrapped them as saloon chatterbuzz laughs, spats, folks filling voids. Kiona spoke. I translate for the Bureau now. Help move the remnants to reserves. Her laugh was jagged. Ironic, huh? Blackwell's dead, 2 ambushed months after our deal. Likely by kin who found the stash empty. Caleb chuckled darkly. So we risked it all for a bluff? No, Kiona said firmly. We ran to breathe, to forge who we became. Outside, Billings buzzwires, trains, East's iron grip taming the West. In the saloon, two survivors shared easy quiet, wolf-scarred and alive. Gotta go, Kiona said, rising gracefully. See you again? She paused in the light, a silhouette of memory. In this world or the next, Caleb Thornsome bonds outlast graves. She faded, leaving Pine's ghost and skirts swish into whatever came after endurance. Caleb drained his glass, stepping into Billings's bustle. A locomotive wailed distant, mourning untamed souls. He headed toward it, ghosts as companions, scars as Bajesht lived. Chosen, breathed when it hurt most. What do you think were their choices justified, or did survival cross into betrayal? Drop your take in the comments below. Stand your ground and share your views. Let's debate this out.